And here I am, little Solana, in the strato colony on the planet Vertumna. It's our first month, and I'm very excited to start exploring our new home. So, first things first, let's say hi to our friend Tammy. Tammy looks concerned. You slept for so long after you bumped your head, she says. I bet your parents were worried. Your dad is working over in geoponics near those domes. They're called greenhouses. I would go with you, but, well, this is as far as I've been from the ship since we landed. Tammy stammers, blushing. It's scary outside. Okay, I guess I'll go check out where my dad is. Oh, there's my dad! Solana! Your dad gives you a big warm hug. I'm so happy you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. He checks your head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covers it with jokes and smiles. I love you, Dad. Welcome to Vertumna, he says, gesturing around you. You've never seen the stratospheric from the outside except in pictures. The ship has been separated in two, and parts taken off from other buildings and a big wall around the whole colony. The alien jungle creeps right up to the wall, only the geodesic greenhouse paths outside it, dotting their way up the hill. It's beautiful. I'm glad you agree, he says. Your mother and we've been waiting a long time to see the grass and trees again, even if they are purple. Oh, before I forget, he pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Do you know what day it is? He asks. You honestly don't. You remind him that you've been asleep in medbay. Happy birthday! He shouts, wrapping you in a warm hug. Your birthday already? You feel a dizzying sense of deja vu. You stare hard at the wrapped package. You know exactly what is in there. You remember it. No, you dreamed about this package some years ago on the ship. Inside will be a small medallion with the shape of the sun that your dad made by hand. Open the package. Ooh, it's really cool. How did you know this? It's exactly as you imagined, as you dreamed. A feeling of panic rises in your throat, your hands shake. But how? Your dad notices. Are you okay, Solana? He snaps his fingers. Dr. Instance shouldn't have let you out so early. Sometimes those sleeping meds take a while to wear off. They might make your head feel funny for a few hours. You nod. Maybe that's all it is. Someone shouts your dad's name. Listen, I'm so sorry, Solana, he says, but I have to get back to work. There was an accident when we landed and... He stops himself. Don't worry, we're going to fix it, your mother and I. Professor Hal is expecting you in classes. If you're feeling up to it, your dad says, pointing to the west of the engineering wing, to the rear end of the bisected ship. He then points to the large doors you came out of earlier. Or you can relax in your quarters until you're feeling better. We'll talk later tonight, he says, then kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. Have a wonderful birthday, Solana. I love you. Love you too, Dad. To enter buildings, click the door or the flag beside it, or get close and press enter or another action button. Then choose an activity for the month to gain skill and advance time. There are 13 months in a year and 10 years to the end of the game. You'll only have time to focus on a few things. Ooh, okay. Oh, hey, it's Dees. You see Dees sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from somebody? He seems to be watching the gate on the wall to the south, where the grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed past the walls, he says quietly without looking up. They say there's nothing to be afraid of, but then why do we need walls? Ooh. You stare at the gate and have a sudden rush of memory, so strong that you think you might faint. You imagine something crashing through the wall, something enormous and dark and wriggly. Scary. For years in space, you had half-remembered nightmares of monsters, of your ship being destroyed, of sifting through the wreckage that used to be your home, trying to find something. Your dad always told you the dreams weren't real. Breaking from your daydream, Dees whispers, "I think there are monsters out there. Our parents will keep us safe." "Maybe," Dees mumbles. He doesn't look convinced. He looks down at his feet. "If you believe everything they say, I guess you should go to school now, like a good girl," he sneers. Rude. You shake the vision from your head. It was just a dream. Dees must have made you imagine it with his creepy talk. Why does he always have to be like this? Oh hey, Anemone! Hiya, Solana! Anemone seems really at home here. She's rolling a sports ball around with her foot, making patterns in the weird blue snow. This stuff is different from snow on Earth, she tells you, because it isn't cold, but it's still neat, and you can make stuff out of it. Your foggy head clears a little. Anemone is simple, physical, real. You always feel good around here. What are you making? Just snow spirals, she says. But earlier me and Cal made a big snow pal. You missed it while you were sleeping in medbay. She smiles her broad, gap-toothed smile at you. Now that you're awake, we can play. Have you seen any monsters? Nope, just some little bugs. The grown-ups would say if they were monsters, right? She shrugs, then smiles reassuringly. Even if there were monsters, Chief Rhett would beat them all up. And so don't worry, my mom says we're safer here than we were in space. You both look over at the wreckage of the Stratospheric, the spaceship where you were born. Anemone's mom, Aunt Sedent, is probably right about that. Look what the wormhole did to your ship. What about school? She smacks her forehead. School? I wondered where everybody was. I guess I'm going to be late for humanities class. She doesn't look very worried to you. It's okay, she says. Professor Howell's chill. He won't mind. But we should probably go now. She grins and starts running towards engineering. Hey, race you! No fair, she's getting a head start. Ooh. The garrison. A small team led by Security Chief Rhett was enough to keep the peace on the Stratospheric. To stay busy, they also ran the exercise gym and sports ball courts. Here on Vertumna, the garrison has expanded fast. They're building a huge wall around the colony and have an outdoor firing range and a big covered dojo. And best of all, a regulation-sized sports ball court. What's up here? Command. Command is a warren of long hallways with doors off to tiny nondescript offices. Everyone you pass seems to be hurrying off to something important. The end of the hallway opens into the supply depot, which works as both a requisitions office and general store. Beyond it are cavernous warehouses stacked high with supplies from Earth, now being gradually unpacked and distributed. Colony food shortfall, negative 100%, low. Colony security rating, evaluating. Upcoming event, we will be hosting our first annual Vertumnalia festivals during the second month of Dust. Chief Administrator Seek. Notice, take precaution outside the colony boundaries. Xenofauna have been sighted in the area. Survey teams are investigating. Chief Surveyor Tonin. Current Council and Administration, Governor Udicott Command, Chief Administrator Seek Command, Security Chief Rhett Garrison, Chief Engineer Instance Engineering, Chief Cultivator Flulu Geoponics. Oh hey, that's our mom! Chief Steward Antecedent Quarters, Chief Surveyor Melatonin Expeditions. Okay. It's the greenhouse. Geoponics. The The greenhouses have different biomes inside, growing plants from Earth that might belong in a desert, jungle, or temperate forest. Some are so delicate that you have to spray off any germs in an airlock before you can enter. The seasonal garden outside is dotted with blue nobodies, little flowers with what look like wriggling creatures stuck inside each one. A sign explains it's a decoy meant to attract some kind of flying predator to come pollinate the flower. Cool! Well, I guess I better go to school now. Engineering. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and medbay. You know the route to your classroom well, but the rest of the wing is off limits to children. Congruence, the ship's onboard AI, beams down at you from a nearby holoscreen. Don't forget to study hard, Solana! Pick an activity for this month. Life sciences, 2 biology, 1 reasoning, 1 friendship with tangent, and 15 stress. Or humanities, 2 creativity, 2 persuasion, 1 friendship with tangent, and 15 stress. Well, I personally love biology, so I think I'm gonna go with that. Good afternoon, my burgeoning biologist and up-and-coming chemist. Professor Hal welcomes you back to your old classroom. This afternoon, we'll learn what I like to call the wet sciences. He gestures to his hollow-protected lesson plan. Biology, chemistry, medicine, ecology, and geology. You'll learn a little bit of everything with opportunities for further study in your favorite field. If you're looking for something a little drier, try registering for engineering classes. For today's lesson, Professor Howell tells you, we'll start with a fun group project. You'll be studying the mush tree. Ooh, that sounds cool. A prominent natural resource native to Vertumna. In the ideal conditions, it can grow at a speed of over a meter a day, sounds like bamboo, and have a diameter of up to 30 centimeters. He stands on his tiptoes and gestures to illustrate. Your team will experiment to find those ideal conditions. You're teamed up with Tang and Cal and given a mush tree spore and a bucket to grow it in. The rest is up to you. Tang looks up surveyor's notes on the holonet. Mush trees, she reads, are most abundant south of the colony in the stormy, moist regions of the subsequent swamp. What if we used water instead of soil, Cal suggests, like they do with hydroponics? Tang nods. If they like wet weather, that might work. Solana, do you have any suggestions? Lower the water's pH. Put it under a bright grow light. Sing to it daily. Run an electric current through it. It said they like stormy, moist regions, so maybe run an electric current through it. What? Tang exclaims. Solana, how does that have any basis in reality? She looks at Cal for support, and he just shrugs. He doesn't look convinced either, neither understand why you'd want to electrocute a plant. Then you explain that there are storms in the swamp. Electrical storms. And maybe, somehow, that, well, on Earth, lightning is very important to the nitrogen cycle. Maybe Solana is right, Tang nods slowly. It could make sense, and if it is true, we'd be the first ones to discover it. This is enough to entice Tang into most things. You attach a small battery to run a weak current through your bucket of water and drop the spore in. The next morning, your spore is the only one already growing. By the end of the day, it's already half a meter tall. And the day after that, it's so huge it hits the ceiling and you have to move it outside. Yay, I was right. Your tree outpaces all the others by a long shot. At the end of the week, Tang proudly displays an edit to the surveyor's holonet notes. Shows rapid growth when stimulated by a mild electric current, as discovered by our junior botanists. Okay. Well, I have 5 cards and 5 spaces, so I guess I should do 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. And I win! Victorious! You worked well this month. Your parents have been working from first dawn to well after dinner every day. You know growing food is an important job, and it's vital to get crops in the ground right away, but there seems to be something more than that. It's such a change from growing up on the stratospheric when you saw them all the time. You stay up and wait for them at night before going to bed. Though you can tell they're exhausted, they make an effort to spend time with you. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of you, little gooseberry, your dad says. Your mom watches you as she works a pebble out of her gardening tiller, which also serves as a crutch. How have you been holding up? I learned some stuff in school. I'm glad to hear that, your mom says. I want you to study hard, work hard, and stay out of trouble. Your dad smiles, and Professor Howell will give you kudos if you get good grades. You can spend those at the depot once it's open. You know, says your dad, raising an eyebrow at your mom, I think there's lots of different ways you can learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby or by helping a friend. Your mom shakes her head and sighs, though you can tell she's trying to put on a gentle expression. We both agree that this colony is an experiment, and that means we're going to do things differently than on Earth. You're old enough to start making your own decisions about your education and future, and if that means find your own way, we'll accept that. Your dad puts a hand on your shoulder. We'll be proud of you no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas for how you can spend your time. And come by geoponics, your mom adds. We could use your help. Okay, that sounds like fun. Oh. And now, we're in mid-quiet.